The reason why I make videos is because these perps really have to stay in character, right? They think they can gaslight you into accepting something that you know is not is not happening naturally. For me, I know it's not going to change the torture or anything I'm going to go through. I understand this is what they're going to do, but they need to stay in character. I think doing that, for example, I can be on the hallways. It's just in a way to kind of get you to accept this manipulation. Target individual, one thing you have to do is just don't identify. The manipulations are so obvious. You feel things that it's just like, what the hell just happened? Some of it is just more obvious than others. Sometimes they try to be subtle, right? You just like give you small weird. They have the ability to manipulate you in all different ways. And then they try to vilify you for the manipulation they make you experience. And then they even try to manipulate how you experience things and what happened at that time. It's like they can reconstruct your memories, feeling, reactions, and then they try to gaslight you into. It's like me creating something, painting something, and then they're acting like, oh my God, oh. This is the same tactics. For me, I'm like, I know what you just did. I mean, I can express what you just did. I understand. You want me to identify with this. The thing is, what they do is just so systematic that I can say things that have been said by others. Matter of fact, this is going to happen to me the same way you just heard this testimony. Just exactly like this. Like, after you hear a testimonial of somebody who's a target individual who says, listen, they're forcing me to have this weird sensation. I had this weird stimulation. I was petting my dog and I felt this weird sensation, this real feeling. I started laughing about it. It's like, I know what you guys are trying to do. This is a target individual who said that in 2007. And she literally said, after that, they started doing that, aiming that toward people and to young people and children. And they did this program perversion. I'm like, Jesus. So I'm supposed to think that I should be nervous for this reaction that I know is not me? Listen, right now they brought back this thing that they did to me not too long ago. I was on a date. Actually, I was waiting for my date. I'm at this restaurant. It's a kind of fancy restaurant. It's not too fancy, but it's fancy. People are wearing suits. And, it's like the waiters are like wearing suits and whatnot, so right? And I'm sitting there waiting for my date. And I'm ordering something, and I can feel this weird feeling, a weird stimulation. It's just like, ooh, what's that? And I'm like, oh, they're making me have this sexual stimulation. There must be a child around here or some kind of like teenager. That's when it's like a spider sense. It's just like they crank up whatever stimulation they can crank up libido. And you're like, whoa, why are they doing this? What's happening around here? There must be a child. And this is why I'm being forced to get this stimulation. They don't do that just to annoy you. Sometimes they mess with me they do that toward like a woman. And they do that just to be like, you see, we mapped it. You felt like that too. See, this is a person that you find appealing. So this is, you see, we mapped it. So when they do this forced stimulations, usually it's to try to create a false reality, a false narrative. And as I'm saying that, they try to counter it with other ways. But I'm going to stick to this. So I'm at this restaurant waiting for my date. I'm feeling something sexual. Like I get the stimulations. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's somebody here. I don't know who. There must be a kid here. And somebody passed by. I'm like, okay, this person must be a child. I see this person. I can see like the peripheral, and I can see this person going there. And as she goes there, she turns around, and I'm like, this is a child. And I look at her. She's like a teenager. I was like, this is like a teenager girl. This is why they were having this sexual stimulations. But all along, before that, this person was like walking in different ways, opening up her shirt, or try to. And I wasn't looking at her directly, but I could see her walk by around me, my peripherals. I could see that. And as I was looking down, they were trying to make me look at her. Like they were creating perceptions in that peripheral to give her like womanly perception. Now she's like a little short, kind of, chubbyish, not chubby, but like and they try to create her in my perception in a sexual way. I'm like, this little. And so when she turns around, and I see how obviously she's a kid, she's a teenager. She had glasses bigger than her head. And next to her, I see some guy who just like shaking. He's like, okay, we're gonna do something to him. It's like, oh my gosh, listen, do something to me, but I understand what you're trying to do. They really want to make you accept this. For me, it's gonna be a theater of even torture. The torture is gonna be a torture to try to convince me. Because it's so humiliating to hear somebody who said the exact same thing. Right now, they even go into my memories and try to create curves. They're creating curves and perceptions that makes her look sexual. She's just a freaking teen. And, now, right now, this noise campaign, they're making me think of what they've made me experience and make noise campaign and make this aggressive noise and things like that. You guys are clowns. These people, these perps, they are contracted to be clowns. Can you imagine you yourself are in a program where you know the capability of the technology. You know that you can manipulate people to have disgusting reactions. Matter of fact, as a target individual, these perps have to watch me listening to the same testimonials of things that they're going to do to me later on. And then they do it again. I'm like, okay, so now because you slammed the door, I'm going to believe. No, I'd rather get slammed and killed and tortured and let you live your fantasy. I want them to feel like clowns when they do these clown things. Because now it's not even about, like, they try to even, like, change, like the experience at the time. They manipulate me to experience this, but even try to change. Listen, to be even able to tell there's a child around because they're forcing you to get some weird sexual stimulation that is falsified. This is like, when they crank it up, you feel bizarre. You're going to hear a woman who say exactly the same thing. You feel a weird feeling. It's not even like regular, like, sexual stimulations. It's just like something just like volume, like they crank a volume and then they're like, whoa, you feel the stimulation immediately. I feel that and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? They want me to, there's a child around because they want me to have some kind of sexual stimulation. That's the only reason why I knew there was a kid around. Because I was not even paying attention to anybody. I was just like focusing on my phone. And I'm like, hey, what's that? And as I feel that, I see somebody just walk in front of me. And like, oh, that probably is a kid. Do you know what they're trying to say? And because when she walked, this person, she's wearing, they were all wearing suits, right? So it covers up basically most of it. And she has a jacket that covers up majority of her back area. And it's like her side is what I can see in front of me. And so I'm like, this is probably a kid. That's why they want me to have this reaction. And they're like, no, but when you saw, did you see her? No. First of all, she had even like a jacket suit to kind of to cover everything. Then I see her going somewhere and she turns around and shows her face. And when I see her face, like, yup, that's a kid. Then immediately my day comes, which is a perp, and try to disorient me and try to forget about what just happened because they want to be like, okay, you see, that's proof. This kid, all throughout me having a conversation with this woman, she'll walk back and forth, but this time like unbutton her suit jacket and try to like show like her body, like, and the peripheral could see that. My peripheral, because you can still see what's around you. And they were creating these perceptions. Like, this is so disgusting. I was like, I wish I could just take a picture of this waitress or this person, that's this hostess. Because what I do is, I take a picture of them and then I make videos about it. It's like, listen, they're trying to make me look at this kid in this sexual way. I humiliate these kids. By the time I try to do that, she's gone. Gone. Because I don't even let them escape. And the guy around, like I said, there was a guy who was like, oh, they're going to do these things, they're going to do that. I was like, listen, do all your things. But if you think that I'm going to let you delude yourself that you're not forcing people to get this stimulation, no. I know it's not changing anything. These people will do all these things to me fully aware that I, the target individual, the test subject, was fully aware that this was the manipulation of this technology that they've been applying to so many people to the point of somebody killing children or killing a child. This man that killed 18 people, which include one child, he was being tormented in this pedophilia ways. This is the things they do. And they're like, no, we proved it. They're like, no, but in 2014, you followed somebody on Snapchat that you... It was like, oh, Jesus. So this is proof, you see. So this is you. We proved it. Listen to this testimony. I have nothing to do with what this poor person said. Nothing. She literally said the exact same thing. I brought this testimony was even, I made that in my video even before, probably before I went on that date, or at least it was something that I listened to many times before. This woman literally said they've been doing this program and perversion, starting off with a dog, giving it a weird sensation, and then they started doing that toward young people, children, and homosexual, which they've done all of that to me. I discovered this testimony in 2020. This thing that they made me experience, which they happen every day. Every day I go out, if there's a kid, they're going to do the same thing. This specifically happened, I think, end of 2022. And they want you to accept this. And because they use this perps who even sold their own children. The way they're going to frame it, they're going to have one of their children say that, I and those, whatever child of theirs, we had something happening, like coming up with, and so they have to prep for this cowardly, disgusting things to even sell your own children. This is how compromised you are. This cowardly low life that can't even say the name of a man who's picking up young kids as young as 14 years old. For me, it's simple. I'd rather die in hell, in a well, in a hole, than let this bottom feeders, who even compromise their own children, live any fantasy. You're going to do what you're going to do, exactly being in full awareness of what you're part of. You're not going to escape. You're not going to create your fantasy. The reality of what you're part of is going to be in your face 24/7. This is why I make these videos. You're going to have to dumb yourself down when you hear something that is this specific. I heard this testimony in 2020. It's been happening like that 24/7 every time I see a kid. That's why I take pictures. They try to make me think of this kid, this fucking, in ways that's sexual. To then try to make me feel guilty about the manipulations. That's why I take pictures of these kids. And because this kid was like 16-year-old, so she's kind of like she's not skinny. She's kind of like chubby, right? They're trying to make me imagine like a voluptuous woman, but she's not. She's a baby. It's a baby. But you see how people act. They have to go with it. Listen to this testimony and imagine me experiencing that after I heard this testimony. And they still want me to be like, oh, no, you know what? No, you're right. And then make me think, no, but that person you follow in 2014, if you saw that picture of this person, you would not imagine this person to not be an adult. But you see the thing that's crazy about how it was even sloppy in the sense that I didn't even see anybody. And I start feeling the stimulation. I'm like, okay. I like immediately was like, oh, this is a kid. There's a kid around here. I don't know who here is a kid, but there's a kid around me. I'm getting the stimulations. It's like they make you have like spider sense now because they play with your stimulations. You get like a weird sexual stimulation. They're like, whoa, what's that? I was like, oh, usually when they do that, there's a child. Who's the child here? That's it. Then I tried to play with my perception of this child. Can you imagine not even knowing anything about anybody, not even saying, just looking at your phone and feeling some weird feeling? I was like, oh. I was like, before I look up, I was like, this is because this person is most likely a child. She turns around, oh, that's a child. I was not looking at this person. I just felt some stimulation that indicated that there's somebody around here who's a child. It's crazy. And in my head, they're like, no, but you saw her first and then you get the stimulation. No, I was feeling the stimulation before I even saw anybody. I was like, oh, that gave me, it's like, oh, it must be a child here. And the sensation they gave me was a sexual stimulation, as always. But it's so cranked up that she's like, oh, this is not natural. Now, listen, sometimes they're not sloppy. Sometimes they just gauge it the right way that doesn't feel like it's just too much of a stimulation. Sometimes you crank it up, it's like, oh, what's that? And so immediately I knew. And so now they just try to have this back and forth. Whatever I'm going to go through, I have to run to it. I have to run to it. I have to. Because this trash, I was on the call with this person who's telling me, yeah, she's good. He's going to talk to you. I was like, yeah, like that kid who died was going to talk to me. I understand. Whatever's going to happen to me, I'd rather die this way. But I'll never let you live your fantasy. You were doing things that you knew this technology is capable of doing, and I knew that too. You're not protecting your children. You're a danger to children. And now you're forcing men and women just for this cognitive warfare to have these reactions to push them into insanity. Because it is disturbing. Can you imagine having stimulation? Sometimes they've done it to like little kids. I'm like, oh, I feel the stimulation. Where's the child? Oh my gosh, this little baby here. That's how bad it is. It's nasty.
Second of my privacy that you have taken away from me and my family. Then said this, the slaves began a program of perversion. First was with my dog. I am very playful with my pet, and suddenly one day that I was petting him I felt strange, in the sense of the word. I thought, this is strange, and then afterwards that strange sensation continued. Then in that moment I realized that was impost, so I thought, look at this losers, don't know how to put me down, and they are doing this. So I told them that I know what you are trying to do, and I started laughing, and then I said again out loud, you'll never take my will, ASS. So just to show them that I meant what I said, I kept playing with my dog, and even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Today, they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use. The people, better said young people, also children and homosexuals.
So, you understand you're validated. Matter of fact, they would make me think of that moment and try to create like, oh, but from the side you could see her girls, like, and I start laughing. And it's like, oh, they'll laugh. Right? It's part of this gaslighting because they want you to take this seriously. Like, you understand what you're trying. You're so desperate to even try to create these perceptions and manipulation and thoughts, changing reality. And me laughing, just like this woman. Knowing that I'm being played with, my brain's being manipulated, even my memories are being played with to change that moment. It's like, no, but that was like, who is this person? And then changing the memory is like, no, but even that moment you saw the curves, like, who is this little chubby kid? Trying to create this new version. It's like, oh, they're alive, huh? This is the kind of fucking stories and gimmickiness they have to create to get you to accept this. Can you imagine? I just said, just like what she said, feeling this weird sensation. That immediately when I feel that, listen, sometimes they've done that toward women. I was like, oh, I hate that because this is the same thing they make me have toward children. And so now they even try to find ways to create now, but you start, no. Like, who is this? It's like, why are they making me feel this way? I could see in front of me somebody just like, okay. Now they try to create now, but you saw from the side, you could see there's like, you could create these things. But what happened is after, like as I'm talking with this woman, I could see on my peripheral, this person coming back and for them to create something, she opened up her jacket, right? Her suit jacket and just like try to like create something for them to create. And I'm not even looking at her straight, but I could see that happening. I'm like, oh my gosh. In my head, they were creating these thoughts, this perception. I was like, Jesus, crazy. This is crazy. So regardless of what's going to happen to me, I will never let them live the fantasy. This is part of this cognitive warfare that they're using us as test subjects. These manipulations. Now, listen. Listen to how they can do. They control sexual arousals. They control perceptions. And it's usually in the disturbing ways to break you down. Listen to this.
This technology can be used to sexually manipulate the target. It can make the target feel sexual arousal, or it can...
This weird feeling, this is when they crank up the sexual arousal. You're like, whoa, what's that? It's intense, like that woman said. It's just something you just, whoa. And that's when I know it's like, okay, there must be a child here. This is why they're creating these sexual arousals. But even the perceptions can be played with. Listen to this testimony, which you've heard many times. I just bring that up just because these people gonna have to dumb themselves down. I don't care what the horrible things I'm gonna go through. And right now, what they live off is the torture that is gonna be implemented on me, as if that is what is validation. It's like, okay, you work for pedophiles, you force people to have this nasty sexual stimulation toward children, and then you think that whatever's gonna happen to me. And by the way, it says it's gonna happen to me because they're gonna frame me. These are the people who have the ability to manipulate you in these ways. Would they manipulate you? These people who say they're going to frame you, they're going to dare to frame you using a child here, saying that you did something to a child. You think these people, with the ability to play with your sexual arousals and ability to manipulate your perceptions, would not make you have reactions toward children? Matter of fact, it validates you even more. Listen to this.
2K, or voice to skull. This involves the projection of voices, noises, and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind. Additionally, the targeting is all highly perverted and sexual, as well as just...
So you heard that the perceptions are also manipulated, which is what they were doing at the time, and now they even manipulate my memories to create this different, like they're kind of restructuring memories to create this different timeline of things and, change. But as I'm hearing the hallways try to counter that, it's like you're going to be framed, then you're going to be raped by somebody who have HIV, you're going to have HIV. I was like, listen, all these horrible things is better than living life doing what these people do. They work day in and day out to manipulate men and women to have sexual reactions toward children. Whatever comfortability of life they live in, I'd rather die in hell. And they know this. They know that this is I'd rather die in this horrible way. They don't even want to be seen anymore. They used to be like, oh, they make me experience this and then walk, and it's like, it's over. I know what you do. We know who's the pedophiles. And these manipulations of what they do to cause people to lose their mind. This is part of this cognitive warfare that we are test subjects to. Listen to this man talking about the future, right? Why would people do this nastiness? Listen to this.
Yes, that this person developed delusional disorder. This is a paranoid schizophrenia. But first of all, nobody develops paranoid schizophrenia in the 50s, in their 50s. This is, if you haven't developed it by 30, it's not. Then this technology exists. These nefarious programs exist, and it's hard to imagine for a person that why would you do something like this? But if you think about the new type of warfare,
cognitive warfare.
Exactly, it's a cognitive warfare. You don't have to kill people that you are fighting against. You can just degrade their brain. You can
you alter their minds.
Yeah, alter their minds,
personalities.
And it's like Chinese torture. I mean, so
this is what this is about. They are altering the mind. They are creating this false persona, and then they gaslight you into accepting and identify to this. They tell me how they're going to shoot me, they're going to do, it's like whatever's going to happen to me, I'm sorry I didn't let you live your fantasy. You're going to get the credit for what you're involved in. You're going to get the credit for what you do to me. You thought I was going to identify with something this obvious? Can you imagine feeling stimulation before you even see, like you don't even, like you're just doing, you're busy doing something else, boom, and I start looking. They try to even rewind that. It's like, now you're looking right in. You go, story. Target vigil. These people are reconstructing reality. They are not making you think in a rush. You're not within reality. They create this false reality in real time and after it happens. Then they try to gaslight you into accepting this, whatever horrible things you're gonna go through. Target individual, find yourself dignified. Imagine you could have lived life, try to do this, try to push a person into accepting things that you yourself participate to experience. They themselves no longer can no longer be in reality. They can't. You know how insane they will go? Imagine that you yourself have worked on something, and then you have to go, okay, action, I gotta act accordingly, I gotta do, yeah, oh my gosh, it's you. Oh, I'd rather die in hell. Now, have to do something as I'm here. That hopefully you can hear that. Somebody's telling me how I'm going to be castrated, which I'll run to it. It's my purpose. Somebody who lives doing this, living this life, they gotta get ready for whatever comes back from it. It was too easy. It was too easy to do these cowardly things. They gotta understand these easy things don't come easy. Don't come for free. For me, for step one, understand you manipulate me. This is the manipulation you've done to others. They're gonna create perceptions and whatever ways to try to make me look at kids and whatever in ways that are sexual. When they're like older kids, they're gonna try to make me look at them the way I would look at a woman. The babies, they're gonna give me sensation, like now we mapped it to you to when you were a kid or whatever. And they're gonna try to make you accept these things. This is crazy. In my head, they're creating these battles. It's crazy. It's just. Ugh. But target visuals stay strong. Whatever they design, however they create the stories, be strong. Hopefully you can capture this. This is part of like the gaslighting. They're even making their dog bark. Listen to this. This is what they do when they try to box in a false memory or try to manipulation. You hear them. This is the bottom feeders of these governmental entities. You know what was happening? When they forced me to get a sexual stimulation, I looked up and I see somebody just walking. Right at this point, it's like this person must be a kid or something like that because this stimulation. But I wasn't sure because I could not see the face. I just saw like the side. It's like, no, there, you saw something. It's like, no. I was like, who's that? Is it probably a kid or something like that? I was like, already. And then she turns around. I was like, oh, for sure, that's a child. When she turns around, meaning her face was shown, I was like, oh, that's a kid. It's like, no, but there, that percentage of trash. You're just trying to create something. And in my head, they're like, no, but there, you should recognize that there was it's like, you are just trying to make me subscribe to this thing. I'd rather go die in hell. I wish you could hear the what they were saying. They were yelling, "The asshole, that!" Listen to this. You hear them? This is the trash, and they probably sold their kids to frame. To my target visuals, stay strong.